What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. It's 10:30 on September 28th, and I decided to come back out and read some of this Mamba Mentality. Got a big day ahead, so got to get prepared. So I just wanted to do that with y'all, if y'all don't mind. We're going to start with Vince Carter brought out the best in me. He came into the league a few years after me and set the world on fire. That sparked the conversation of who was better, Vince or AI. I played with Shaq, so at that point, I wasn't even in the conversation. I was an afterthought. Due to those loud whispers, I always had extra oomph when I played against him. My mentality was that I was going to play him on both ends of the floor, and he was going to have help guarding me. By being able to score on offense and personally shut him down on defense, I wanted to let people know my place in that conversation wasn't even up for debate. Mamba. Now we're going to go on to Tim Duncan, folks. Tim Duncan. Doing this old school. I'm holding the phone in my hand and reading, I have the setup, but I just wanted to be outside in this beautiful sunlight and just reading it out like I sit on my porch and do. So, Tim Duncan, a problem you're going to have to deal with. We are about to move on from the first round of the 1999 playoffs. I remember asking Shaq if he was ready for what? He questioned. This boy we're seeing in the next round, I replied. Robinson? Nah, the other one. He's soft, says Shaq. I've been watching him all year, I responded, and he's a problem that you're going to have to deal with. Shaq sort of waved it off. By the time the Spurs were finished sweeping us, Tim Duncan had averaged something like 30 points. He was already on my radar, but after that series, wow, I realized San Antonio would be a threat we'd have to deal with for all of eternity. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're going through the Mamba Mentality. Tim Duncan was a smart defender. He was angular and used it to his advantage. He also embodied the way San Antonio played defense. The Spurs fool you into believing that there's going to be contact. They contest shots by jumping straight up all the time. They move away from their contender. They move away from contact because they know that in-air contact gives the offensive player balance. But when you move away, the offender ends up off balance. And they did that as much as possible. Didn't know that, yo. I realized that around 2001, they would jump with high hands, and that was now just a runaway for me. I was just going to go over them, forget trying to draw a foul, and dunk in their faces. So pretty much what he's saying right there is he realized what they were going to do. They just jumped straight up. They didn't really do much more than that. So, if they jumped into you, that would give you more of the leverage, meaning that, they hit you, that might be a foul call. But they jumped up, just altered your shot, or had you thinking they was going to jump into you, then they messed you up. But when you took and figured it out, when you sit there and figured, okay, if I could just jump over that, they're not going to do anything else. If I can just jump over that, and that took studying. You had to study and watch game film to notice. You might notice it if you're playing, but sometimes you're in the heat of the moment. But when you reveal that tactic, you see, they've done this every time. And you have the ability to overcome that, then overcome it. It's going to take more for them to adjust because they're used to playing that way. That's all they know how to do. They didn't make any adjustments. You made the adjustment. You feel me? And that's how you win championships. Make adjustments. Small adjustments here and there can go the way. And I've now realized what is missing from my reading of this book, and that was my commentary. Because I realized I've read a couple of things already, and I was only on 2 minutes. So we're gonna get back to color commentary. We're gonna bring this back. Welcome in, folks. Welcome in. Yes, and we're live right now. I'm doing this live and recording this for YouTube. Dual purpose, old school, 2 phones in my hand. Let's go. One of my seminal NBA moments. What was this? What was one of Kobe Bryant's seminal NBA moments? It was 1997, rookie year. And we were against the Rockets. I remember I had really had a tough first half. I was matched up with Clyde Drexler. How many of y'all even remember Clyde Drexler? Clyde the Glide. I don't even think I made a single shot. I came out the second half, kicked it into high gear, and scored 27 off the bench. That was a big moment for me. It would be. Coming your rookie year, dropping a goose egg and coming up and scoring 27. You show you got some tenacity. I always admired Clyde. I always looked at how he defended. He understood how to use his hands and block the vision of the player with one hand, while using the other as a threat to steal the ball or shield it. He also had great balance and used that to his advantage. The way I defended, in fact, can be attributed to Clyde and MJ, of course. This next section is called I Was Going to Dominate, and it shows Ryan against Cuttino Mobley of the Rockets. First, we got Drexler, Clyde over here. Say hi to everybody. What up? And then you got Cuttino Mobley. I was going to dominate. It didn't matter who I was up against. That was my mentality going into every game. The only difference based on what I was up against was how I would do it. Take Cuttino Cat Mobley, for example. Cat liked to use his quickness and his hands a lot. At the same time, he hated when I put my body on him. That was the back and forth every time we'd play. He would swipe at the ball and try to get it when I was down low, and I would use my physicality on him. I would put my weight on him, hit him with elbows, just beat him up and gain the advantage. Y'all might try to say, oh, that's dirty, you're cheating. No. It's part of the game. You got to know the little nooks and crannies, stuff you can get away with. Part of like when I read the part when Kobe said he studied the rule book, he knew where the referees were going to be and not going to be. That's just playing smart. It's not cheating. It's using an advantage. Everybody uses it. Even referees have their own advantages. Excuse me. So this is my daily stoic. Tracy McGrady has some magic to his game. You know what? I wonder there was 365 stories in here, because I will redo this and do this as a daily stoic next year after the daily stoic series finishes. Tracy might have in effect been the hardest matchup. He could do just about everything on offense. He would go in either direction, shoot or drive. He could post up and shoot over his left or right shoulder, and he was long and tall. From that standpoint, I would try to disrupt his flow by pinpointing his aggressive moments and taking those away from him. On nights I had to cover Tracy, I tried to figure out what would make him uncomfortable, which was getting underneath him and being fit. Let me redo this part. On nights I had to cover Tracy, I tried to figure out what would make him uncomfortable, which was getting underneath him and being physical with his legs. I'd get deep into his legs, his back, and I knew he had particular insecurities about his hips, which make him uneasy. That's the downfall of having a friend that you're playing against. You know their weaknesses. You know some things that teammates might not know. The goal was to suffocate him and take away any daylight he might have to score. And that is the I want to touch on that, the friend thing, because I realized that having friends, you don't always have that killer instinct, because you might be going up against somebody that you're cool with, you might not want to pretty much do him like he did Tracy. You might not want to put them on the spot and destroy them. But when you're at a competitive level, you're getting paid for it, and it's y'all can sit back and laugh at these moments afterwards. I want to say it in a way, it's like you got to get the best of each other. Like, there's somebody out there is going to be doing it, so it might as well be you. One of y'all has to have that killer. If both of y'all don't got the killer instinct, the others out there, like, no one wants to see that. It's kind of boring. Like, it's just like just reading from a page. You got to get out there and have that killer instinct, that your own flair. You got to take that away. You really got to, welcome in. You really got to, we got somebody coming. We got company. You really got to, I'm just wondering what the hell, you skipping everybody but my house? All right, I wonder if I can edit that out. All right, back to the killer instinct. Tracy always had quick hands. He was especially good at using them to swipe the ball and knock it away. My goal then was to neutralize his hands as threats by keeping the ball away from him. As long as I did that, I knew I can get to the spots I wanted to and dictate what kind of night I was going to have. We take it a step further. He didn't just stop at one. You can tell this was personal. And if y'all look at the video, there's a video out there of them talking about days that they played and when they went one-on-one and who won the game. You can tell they had a little friendly rivalry going. And it was a mutual respect. But every time they played each other, each one of them was trying to take the other out. And he dedicated a few whole chapters to Tracy McGrady. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. You too. Stay safe. Residents of... I own like half a Haymarket today. I gotta finish buying that joint. It's coming up too. It's not expensive. Okay, all right. And continuing on, oh boy, the Celtics. I remember this matchup. We were on a collision course. Welcome in, everyone. When Boston acquired multiple All-Stars in 2008, we knew it was going to come down to the two of us. That happened in about 2008, and it happened again in 2010. In retrospect, it was awesome to be part of that historic rivalry. I knew the history. I knew that Jerry West went through. I knew what Jerry West went through. That knew what the Showtime Lakers went through. That definitely added the meaning of it all. Excuse me. At that time, though, my mindset was they're in the way, and I have to win. I have to win this title. It didn't matter that they had 3 future Hall of Famers and Rasheed Wallace and Rajon Rondo and others. It didn't matter because the history books wouldn't reflect that. The only thing that gets recorded is titles. And we had to fight our way through those guys and win one. And I was there for one of them. Game 2. Paul Pierce was one of the toughest players I ever had to guard. Really, he understood how to use his body. He would use his heft to shield you. And he would use his size to shoot over you. What I had to do there was turn the tables and gain the positional advantage. I used my left forearm to put pressure into his back. I put my left leg behind him to further negate any opportunity he had to spin off me. Simultaneously, I used my right leg to cut off his angle to drive directly. Then if he made any mistake with the ball, my right hand was there to flick it away and capitalize on the error. The best result of this play would have been to take the ball from him or block his shot. Another good result would have been to make him uncomfortable enough where he wouldn't shoot at all. It would have been okay also if he shot the ball off balance. Regardless, I wasn't going to let him get comfortable and score without putting up a fight. That was just a nasty battle, man. I'm sorry, Celtics. Shout out to Paul Pierce and the Celtics organization, but man, they are rivals. It's like the Eagles and Cowboys. I don't even like seeing green on this page, y'all. I don't even like seeing green on the page. It just does something. Tony Allen never got intimidated, ever. He was a dog in a good way. He was really aggressive, physical, and most of all, he didn't quit. He was relentless. He was also old school in that he would foul every time and dare the refs to call it. And I love that. I would hit him back with elbows, shove him, and reciprocate all the contact he initiated. Here's why, along with KG and them, the 2010 finals were such a battle. They fouled me on every play and were unapologetic about it. They hit me and let me know that they hit me. When you're in a situation like that, playing against a guy like Tony Allen on a team like those Celtics, you have to be willing to play through that. More than that, it has to excite you on some level. You have to take it as a challenge, like, go ahead and be physical. But trust me, you're going to back down before I do. eBay, what up, eBay? What up, what up? Yes, we live on Live Me, and we sitting here reading this Mamba Mentality. I'm gonna read like one or two more, then I gotta go to post and editing and get this up for my next meeting. But I like doing this. I'm gonna do this more often, folks. I'm gonna do this more often. Ray Allen went through a few different on-court reinventions. When he was young in Milwaukee, he just ran off screens. Later in his stay there in Seattle, they run more isolations for him and let him work off the dribble. Closer to the end in Boston and Miami, he was back to playing entirely off the ball and being a shooter. Ray was deadly. He understood how to run off screens. He understood timing. He understood how to create a tiny gap to generate the smallest window of space. He and I had some battles, especially in his Milwaukee and Seattle days. We were in the same draft class, him and me, AI, so we were fighting to establish territory back then. Good old Jesus Shuttlesworth. He got game. Ray Allen. All right, I'm gonna close on this one because boxing out was what I excelled in. Because I started out as a big man and moved to the wing, you know, because my height got surpassed. I had some 6'7" people on my team. But boxing out, the fundamental, I understood the importance of it. And Kobe says, I took boxing out as a big man, a personal challenge. In high school, let's go, we used to do these drills where you had to keep your man from getting the ball or even tapping it. If you got a hand on it, you lost the drill. So it was instilled in me that boxing out was crucial. Outside of dominating by dint of will, there are physical ways to ensure you gain an advantage. While going for your rebound, you want to obviously establish a good base and get your body in front of the opposition. But you also want to make sure you get lower than their hips so you can move them and alter their positioning. If you try doing that at the shoulders, it won't work because they're stronger at the top. So you want to get beneath them and use your body weight to move them from the waist down. When most players look at basketball as competition, they consider scoring and defending. In truth, even with this little aspect, boxing out is competition within the competition. It's a competition to see who can get the damn ball. It's a competition to see who wants it more. And I'm not going to lose that type of battle. Boxing out. We got to talk about boxing out negativity. You know, every day you wake up, there's a competition. Like I was just telling eBay, you got to do better than the day before, and then better than the day after that, then better than the next day, and keep going on, and it only gets better. But you got to box out. You got to block out all the negative aspects of it. When you wake up feeling like the day before, block it out. Box it out. Don't even let it touch you. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. You hear what I'm saying here? Do y'all hear what I'm saying? So take that as it may, and I want to thank you for this reading of the Mamba Mentality by myself, Official Boss Don CEO. And we'll continue to do this. Thank you. God bless. And make your next move your best move. Make it a boss move.